GT the Vibe Podcast coming to another episode. How you guys rocking today? How we doing? How we living? Let me get myself situated here. I'm all off base right now. All right. So this lady, he's gonna ask her a couple of questions about kids and kind of the stuff that um, they're exposed to out here. I like the questions and then I like how she answers at the end. So I'll let them rock with them. We'll go over this a little bit.
Should be able to smoke cigarettes?
No,
Okay. Do you think a 10-year-old should be able to buy a gun?
no,
Okay. Why do you say no to all those questions?
because I don't think a 10-year-old has the maturity or the life experience or the knowledge to make those decisions and use those, especially cigarettes and a gun.
So a 10-year-old doesn't have the maturity or the life experience to be able to make these decisions, right? I think most of us would agree with her on this, as far as her premise and what she thinks in this particular instance. But what I found is that people like this, they will switch up when you ask the right question. So she said that she doesn't believe that they possess the maturity to be able to make the right decision when it comes to guns or when it comes to cigarettes or even alcohol. We don't even let them buy alcohol until you're 21. You can't smoke in the state of Kansas till you're 18. So obviously, we don't believe that kids of that age have the propensity in their mind to be able to make that decision, right? And so we're going to let him continue, and you're going to hear some of the questions he asked at the end.
To use those in a way that is responsible.
Great. I agree 100%. Last question. Do you think a 10-year-old should be able to determine if they are a boy or a girl?
The face tells it all.
I think that's a different question.
So she thinks that that's a different question. So you don't think that they have the propensity and the mindset to be able to make a decision on cigarettes, guns, alcohol, those type of things, but you think that they can make a decision on gender and changing gender or whether or not they want to be a different gender. That's the crazy thing is that we will say kids can't make these certain decisions or they don't have the mindset or the propensity upside in their head and their brain to be able to make these decisions. But then when it comes to making life altering decisions, such as being able to alter whatever sex that they are, we're just like, okay, cool, we're gonna rock with it. Um, Personally, I don't believe that they. I mean, honestly, I think that it's a tolerated behavior. It comes from the household, and so I think that families cater to this. I've noticed it in my dealings with kids, especially in a middle school. That middle school age range is very gullible. They're very impressionable, and so I think what happens is you get you I mean even when they got they got the drag queens at schools reading books to kids and stuff like that, so they're impressionable, so being around that type of stuff can cause them to think things that they probably wouldn't normally think, and it's not something that they can just come up with themselves. Like, that is learned tolerated behavior. So that's something that has come from, whether it be in a home life or whether it be at school or whether it be in group settings, friendships. They learn stuff. I mean, even with my kids, like, you know, they'll talk about zombies and stuff like that, and I'm thinking, where the heck did y'all learn that from? But they're impressionable. When you got 10, 9, 10, 11-year old son or daughter that is still naive in the mind, they're impressionable. So you can tell them just about anything and then make them believe it. And so I think that that comes from the household, it comes from the families, but I think we have to protect our kids from being in situations where they're easily manipulated by culture. Because at the end of the day, um, I've said this in prior podcasts, men protect children, right? Because children are the future. Men are protectors of the future. And at some point in time, we got to step up as men and protect the children from what's coming. Because obviously, we can see that they're definitely making a push for um, non-binary or whatever they want to call it. And so it's crazy. You got boys and female sports and all that jazz, and this doesn't make sense to me. At the end of the day, I think that whatever you come out with is what you are. I don't remember being a 10-year-old wondering what gender I was. I remember um, when my mom talked to us about it, and so I knew based on my body, what I have, my tools in the toolbox, that I was a man. So I was a male. I didn't question. I wasn't like, well, I feel like a female today, so can I change? No, it was never a thought of change. It was this is what you are, and this is what we're rocking with. But culture, society has changed to a point where now we want to have options, and that's not just in gender. That's in relationships. That's in friendships. That's I mean, you want to have options in everything. Everybody just wants to because options give people control, and so when you have more options, you feel like you have the it's like you have control, but you don't actually have control, right? And so that's the mindset that we have. So I think we got to protect our kids and be careful because people like this will admit you can't buy cigarettes, you can't buy alcohol, right? You can't make the right decisions, but you can say that you can change your gender at that age. And I think that that's something that it's crazy to me to even see that happen. And I'm not even of the older generation. I'm 35, about to be 35 years old, so I'm not of the older generation. And it's crazy that even me at my age, I see it and I'm like, dude, that's a problem. But it's something that obviously needs to be fixed, something that needs to be talked about. But yeah, I just want to show this lady here how she switched up on them real quick. Probably your typical liberal. Um, it depends on the question. Always has, always does. Well, it's GT Divide Podcast again with another episode. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out. To the next one.